Did you know Mike Tyson lost to Jake Paul because he was in debt and needed the money to pay it off? Did you know Lindsay Lohan, Nicolas Cage, and Pamela Anderson are all living in debt? When you think of celebrities, you think of wealth, but not all of them manage it properly and end up losing it all. Today, we're going to talk about the celebrities who lost everything and are now living in rags. Mike Tyson. In 2024, Tyson announced a return to the ring to face YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul. The bout, initially scheduled for July, was postponed due to Tyson suffering an ulcer flare-up. It eventually took place on November 15, 2024, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and was broadcast live on Netflix. The king of boxing lost to Jake Paul, the 27-year-old boxer who does not even know what is boxing. The fight consisted of 8 two-minute rounds. Paul, 27, emerged victorious over the 58-year-old Tyson by unanimous decision, with judges scoring the bout 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73 in favor of Paul. But everybody knows it was a fixed game. Tyson got many opportunities but missed it himself. The only reason was Mike Tyson's financial condition. He was completely broke before the match, and he was liable to $20 million in debt. He had to come out of it, but it was not always like that. He became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at the age of 20 by defeating Trevor Berbick in 1986. Throughout his career, Tyson amassed a record of 50 wins, 6 losses, and 2 no contests, with 44 victories by knockout. Tyson's career was marked by both remarkable achievements and significant controversies. He held the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles simultaneously, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. However, his career faced setbacks, including a shocking defeat by Buster Douglas in 1990 and a prison sentence for rape in 1992. Despite these challenges, Tyson made comebacks, recapturing titles and participating in notable bouts, such as his disqualification for biting Evander Holyfield's ear in 1997. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan rose to fame as a child actress, capturing hearts with her dual role as twins, Hallie Parker and Annie James in the 1998 remake of The Parent Trap. Her performance showcased her talent and led to further success in films like Freaky Friday and Mean Girls, the latter becoming a cult classic that solidified her status as a leading actress in Hollywood. Lohan was praised for her comedic timing and on-screen charisma, making her one of the most sought-after young actresses of her time. As she transitioned into adulthood, Lohan faced numerous personal and professional challenges. Beginning in the mid-2000s, she became a fixture in tabloids due to her frequent attendance at clubs and high-profile social circles. Her personal life began to overshadow her career, leading to strained relationships with studios and filmmakers. Lohan's struggles with substance abuse and legal issues resulted in multiple arrests for charges, including driving under the influence, DUI, and possession of controlled substances. These legal troubles led to several stints in rehabilitation facilities and court-ordered counseling. Her ongoing issues affected her professional life significantly, causing delays in film productions and leading to lost roles. Despite these setbacks, Lohan attempted comebacks with roles in films like Liz and Dick, where she portrayed Elizabeth Taylor, and by making appearances in television series and on stage in London's West End. In recent years, Lohan has taken steps to rebuild her life and career away from the Hollywood spotlight. She moved abroad, spending time in Europe and the Middle East, and ventured into business by opening nightclubs and resorts in Greece. Lohan also returned to acting, starring in the Netflix holiday film Falling for Christmas, marking her first major role in several years. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is an Academy Award-winning actor known for his intense and eclectic performances in films like Leaving Las Vegas, Face Off, and National Treasure. Born Nicholas Kim Coppola, he changed his last name to Cage to forge his own identity and avoid the appearance of nepotism within his famous filmmaking family, the Coppolas. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Cage built a reputation as a versatile actor, taking on a wide range of roles that showcased his unique style and dedication to his craft. His portrayal of a suicidal alcoholic in Leaving Las Vegas earned him an Academy Award for Best Actor in 1996. Despite his professional success, Cage faced significant financial troubles in the late 2000s. Reports emerged that he had accumulated massive debts due to extravagant spending on luxury properties around the world, expensive cars, rare artifacts, and even dinosaur skulls. In 2009, the IRS filed a federal tax lien against him for unpaid taxes totaling over $6 million. Cage blamed his business manager for negligence and mismanagement, filing a lawsuit against him. However, the financial strain led to the foreclosure of several of his properties. To address his mounting debts, Cage began accepting numerous acting roles, sometimes appearing in multiple films within a single year. While some of these projects received mixed reviews, his relentless work ethic helped him chip away at his financial obligations. In recent years, Cage has experienced a career resurgence with critically acclaimed performances in independent films like Mandy and Pig, the latter earning him widespread praise for his nuanced portrayal of a reclusive truffle hunter. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson rose to international fame in the 1990s as one of the stars of the hit television series Baywatch, where she portrayed lifeguard C.J. Parker. Her iconic role, combined with numerous appearances in Playboy magazine, made her a household name and a pop culture symbol of that era. Despite her immense success, Anderson has faced financial difficulties over the years. In 2009 and 2010, she made headlines when reports surfaced that she owed significant amounts in back taxes. The state of California filed a tax lien against her for nearly $500,000 in unpaid taxes. Additionally, she was listed on California's list of top 500 delinquent taxpayers, which brought unwanted attention to her financial situation. Her financial troubles were compounded by costly renovations to her Malibu home. Anderson invested millions into remodeling her beachfront property, but the project went over budget and led to legal disputes with contractors over unpaid bills. The mounting expenses put a strain on her finances, forcing her to rent out the property to help cover the costs. In 2021, she ultimately decided to sell her Malibu home to alleviate her financial burdens. Her personal life also had financial implications. Her high-profile marriages and subsequent divorces from musicians, Tommy Lee and Kid Rock, as well as producer Rick Salomon, involved substantial legal fees and settlements. These personal challenges added to the complexities of managing her wealth. In recent years, she has focused on advocacy and activism, particularly in animal rights and environmental causes. She has continued to work sporadically in the entertainment industry, appearing in reality TV shows, documentaries, and even returning to the stage. Despite her past financial challenges, she remains resilient, leveraging her fame to support the causes she is passionate about. Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is an iconic American musician, singer, and songwriter known for his contributions to country music with timeless hits like On the Road Again and Always on My Mind. Throughout his career, Nelson has been celebrated for his distinctive voice, guitar playing, and songwriting skills, making him a beloved figure in the music industry. Despite his success, Willie Nelson faced significant financial troubles in the early 1990s due to issues with the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. In 1990, the IRS claimed that Nelson owed a staggering $32 million in back taxes, penalties, and interest. This massive debt was the result of unpaid taxes and penalties from the early 1980s, compounded by the collapse of a tax shelter in which Nelson had invested, known as the tax shelter scheme organized by his accounting firm, Price Waterhouse. To recover the unpaid taxes, the IRS seized most of Nelson's assets, including his properties, real estate holdings, and personal belongings. They even raided his Texas ranch and auctioned off items such as his recording studio equipment and musical instruments. Fans and friends purchased many of these items at auction and returned them to Nelson out of loyalty and support. Facing this enormous debt, Nelson took an unconventional approach to resolve his financial crisis. In 1992, he released a double album titled The IRS Tapes, Who Will Buy My Memories? The album consisted of stripped-down acoustic performances of his songs, and the proceeds were dedicated entirely to paying off his tax debt. Nelson also continued to tour extensively, using his concert earnings to chip away at the amount owed. Through relentless touring, recording, and the support of his fans, Willie Nelson managed to settle his debt with the IRS by 1993, paying a substantially reduced amount after negotiations. His financial ordeal became a well-known chapter in his life story, highlighting both the challenges of financial management in the entertainment industry and the resilience he displayed in overcoming adversity. Since resolving his tax issues, Nelson has continued to have a prolific career, releasing numerous albums and collaborating with other artists. Billy Joel. Billy Joel is a legendary singer-songwriter known for timeless classics like Piano Man, Uptown Girl, and Just the Way You Are. His career has spanned over 5 decades, earning him numerous awards and a devoted fan base worldwide. Despite his tremendous success, Billy Joel faced significant financial troubles in the late 1980s due to mismanagement and betrayal by someone close to him. Joel discovered that his former manager and then brother-in-law, Frank Weber, had misappropriated and squandered a substantial portion of his earnings. Weber was entrusted with handling Joel's finances, but allegedly invested the singer's money in risky ventures without his consent and used funds for personal expenses. In 1989, Joel filed a lawsuit against Weber, accusing him of fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and undue influence. He sought $90 million in damages, claiming that millions had been lost through unauthorized investments and negligent management. The legal battle was protracted and took an emotional toll on Joel, not only financially but also personally, as it involved a family member. The financial setback forced Joel to reassess his business affairs and take a more active role in managing his finances. To recover from the losses, he increased his touring schedule and became more vigilant about his financial dealings. The experience served as a harsh lesson about the importance of oversight, even when dealing with trusted individuals. Despite these challenges, Billy Joel managed to rebuild his fortune and continued to produce music and perform to sold-out crowds. His resilience and dedication to his craft kept his career thriving. In 2014, he began a residency at Madison Square Garden in New York City, performing monthly shows that have been immensely popular, showcasing his enduring appeal. Haim. Haim was a popular teen actor in the 1980s who seemed to have it all. He starred in hit movies like Lucas and the Lost Boys, and girls everywhere adored him. Fans would send him thousands of letters each week, but fame came with a heavy price. Haim struggled with drug addiction from a young age, which slowly destroyed his acting career and personal life. By 2001, things had gotten so bad that a TV documentary showed him living in a small garage apartment with his mother, barely able to speak clearly. He was so broke that he tried selling his own hair and tooth online just to make money. When Haim died in 2010 from pneumonia, his family was so poor they had to ask for donations to pay for his funeral. Coleman. Gary Coleman became a cultural icon through his role as Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes. Born with significant health challenges and adopted as an infant, Coleman underwent 2 kidney transplants, which contributed to his notably small stature. He is just 4 feet 8 inches tall. Despite the show's immense popularity, Coleman's financial life was turbulent. In 1989, he sued his parents and business advisor for misappropriating his assets, which was a rare step for a young actor to take against those closest to him. Ironically, despite this legal victory, he declared bankruptcy a decade later. Coleman's public narrative was complicated by struggles with substance abuse and depression. When he died in 2010 at just 42 years old, his assets were minimal. His story became a poignant example of how early success does not guarantee long-term financial stability or personal happiness. Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder became famous for playing Lois Lane in the Superman movies alongside Christopher Reeve. Her career was going well with roles in popular films like the Amityville Horror, but her life took a dramatic turn after a serious car accident that left her unable to work for 2 years. Financial troubles followed, leading to bankruptcy. In 1996, Kidder experienced a mental health crisis that led her to become homeless, sleeping in backyards and looking unrecognizable. Eventually, she found peace by moving to Montana. Sadly, her life ended in 2018 when she died by suicide, overdosing on alcohol and drugs. Leif Garrett. In the 1970s, Leif Garrett was the ultimate teen idol. Young fans loved his looks and music, but his success was short-lived. By the mid-1980s, his music career had ended, and he was mostly appearing in low-budget movies. Garrett battled serious drug addiction and carried guilt over a car accident that paralyzed his friend. He was arrested multiple times for drug-related issues, including jail time. Despite once being a major star, Garrett ended up with almost no money. His story became a warning about how quickly fame can disappear. Lonnie Willison. Lonnie Willison was once a glamorous fitness model and actress, known for appearing on red carpets and being married to Baywatch actor Jeremy Jackson. After their divorce in 2014, her life fell apart. Mental health and substance abuse problems cost her everything. She lost her apartment, couldn't keep her car, and became homeless. Now she wanders the streets of Santa Monica, pushing a shopping cart which was a shocking contrast to her previous life of fame and beauty. Her transformation shows how quickly life can change when personal struggles take over. Erin Moran. Erin Moran became a household name playing Joni Cunningham on the beloved sitcom Happy Days. Cast at just 13 years old, she was part of a show that defined 1970s television comedy. Even after Happy Days ended, she continued her role in the spin-off Joni Loves Chachi, though the series was short-lived. The transition from child star to adult actress proved challenging for Moran. By 1988, she was experiencing depression and found it difficult to secure acting roles. Her financial struggles became increasingly evident when her California home was foreclosed in 2010, forcing her to move into a small trailer with her mother-in-law in Indiana. Moran's life took a tragic turn. At 56, she passed away from stage 4 cancer. Importantly, toxicology reports confirmed no involvement of illegal substances. Her final years were marked by financial hardship and apparent personal difficulties, including being reportedly evicted from her mother-in-law's trailer following a confrontation. Butler. Butler gained recognition through her comedic talents and starring role in the ABC sitcom Grace Under Fire. However, her behind-the-scenes struggles with recurring drug addiction significantly impacted her career trajectory. In 1998, due to erratic behavior stemming from substance abuse, Butler was dismissed from her show, leading to its cancellation. Her financial decisions and trust in questionable individuals further complicated her professional and personal life. By 2011, Butler had experienced homelessness, living in shelters in Georgia. Although she returned to Los Angeles and continued occasional television work, the COVID-19 pandemic halted her momentum. Her closest friend initiated a GoFundMe campaign when Butler faced potential eviction, ultimately raising over $12,000 to help her maintain housing. Bonaduce. Danny Bonaduce first captured America's heart as the spirited Danny Partridge in the 1970s sitcom The Partridge Family. His red-headed charm and witty personality made him a beloved child actor. However, his path after childhood stardom was far from smooth. Bonaduce's struggles became public in 1990 when he was arrested for attempting to buy cocaine in Daytona Beach, ironically while hosting an anti-drug event for DARE. The following year brought another low point, an arrest in Phoenix for beating and robbing a sex worker, which cost him his radio job. At his lowest point, Bonaduce was so broke that he lived in his car behind a dumpster near the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The cruel irony was that people would still approach him for autographs, unaware of his dire circumstances. Fortunately, Bonaduce's story didn't end there. He overcame his drug addiction and rebuilt his life. Since 2011, he has found stability co-hosting a morning radio show in Seattle, demonstrating remarkable personal transformation. Todd Bridges. Todd Bridges became a household name playing Willis Jackson on Different Strokes. After the show ended in 1986, Bridges faced significant challenges, including typecasting and a lack of acting opportunities. His struggles led him down a dark path of drug addiction, battling crack cocaine and methamphetamine. In 1989, he faced his most serious legal challenge, which was an attempted murder charge for shooting a drug dealer during a cocaine-fueled incident. After 2 trials and 9 months in jail, he was acquitted. Bridges' turning point came in 1992, when instead of returning to jail, he entered a year-long drug rehabilitation program. Since then, he has remained clean and sober, gradually rebuilding his career through reality show appearances and occasional acting roles. Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid's acting career spans over 90 films, but he's most memorable as Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. However, his later years have been marked by increasingly unusual legal troubles that seem to blur the lines between comedy and criminal activity. In 2009, Quaid and his wife were arrested for allegedly defrauding a homeowner using an invalid credit card. The following year, their legal troubles escalated when they were charged with burglary for occupying a guest house they once owned. Rather than face these charges, the couple fled to Canada, seeking asylum. Their journey took unexpected turns. After being notified of deportation, they returned to the United States and were detained by customs agents in Vermont. Surprisingly, a judge found irregularities in California's case and voided the extradition request. The Quaids were released and have since made Vermont their permanent home, turning a potential disaster into an unexpected new chapter of their lives. Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne's acting career began with a small, uncredited role in Heartburn in 1986. She gained prominence through comedic roles in American Pie and Slums of Beverly Hills. However, her early promise was nearly derailed by personal struggles. The early 2000s saw Lyonne battling significant personal demons. She was arrested multiple times, including once for driving under the influence, and another incident involving property destruction. At her lowest point, she found herself homeless and addicted to heroin. A critical health crisis, hospitalization with hepatitis C and a collapsed lung, became a turning point. Lyonne's recovery was remarkable. She found treatment that helped her overcome her addiction and successfully revitalized her acting career. Her role in Netflix's Orange is the New Black marked her professional comeback, and she has since landed the lead in the well-received Peacock series Poker Face. Bobby Driscoll. Bobby Driscoll's story is a haunting reminder of Hollywood's potential to both elevate and destroy young talent. Beginning his career at just 6 years old, Driscoll quickly became a Disney star. By 16, he had lent his voice to Peter Pan and won a Juvenile Academy Award, even earning a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, the onset of teenage acne led Disney to drop his contract, a pivotal moment that dramatically altered his life trajectory. Driscoll spiraled into addiction and crime, eventually being arrested and sentenced to a rehabilitation center. Upon release, he found no acting opportunities and relocated to New York with Broadway dreams. His story ended tragically. At 31, Driscoll died of heart failure in an abandoned East Village apartment. His body was discovered by two boys playing in the building in 1968, a stark and heartbreaking end for someone who had once been Hollywood royalty. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was a musical revolutionary who transformed the landscape of soul music. Known as the Prince of Motown, he began his career as a session player before emerging as a groundbreaking solo artist. His music captured the complexities of human emotion, from the sensuous notes of Let's Get It On to the introspective soundtrack of Trouble Man, which reflected his own inner struggles. Despite his musical brilliance, Gaye's personal life was marked by profound challenges. By 1976, financial troubles consumed him. He filed for bankruptcy due to missed alimony payments, with a judge ordering $600,000 to be taken directly from his royalties. This financial strain, combined with a growing cocaine addiction and deep psychological turmoil, forced him into exile in England and Belgium. It was during this period of personal crisis that Gaye created Sexual Healing, a testament to his enduring musical genius. However, his most tragic moment came in 1984 during a devastating family dispute. In a violent confrontation with his father, Gaye initiated a fight that ultimately resulted in his own death, shot by the very man who had raised him. At the time of his death, Gaye was nearly $10 million in debt, a stark contrast to his musical legacy that would continue to influence generations of artists. Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore lived in the long shadow of a legendary acting family. The son of John Barrymore and father of Drew Barrymore, he struggled to establish his own identity in Hollywood. Despite early promise, landing leading roles quickly in films like High Lonesome, his career never reached the heights of his predecessors. Personal demons plagued Barrymore's professional life. In 1958, he was sentenced to prison for a drunken fight with his wife. Subsequent arrests and legal troubles, including a suspected hit and run while intoxicated, further derailed his potential. He spent years working on small film projects in Italy, but his erratic behavior continued to obstruct his progress. Eventually, Barrymore became increasingly reclusive, living a mystical and isolated existence far from the glitz of Hollywood. By the early 2000s, his life had become a poignant story of isolation. It was his daughter Drew who ultimately stepped in, providing care and financial support during his final years. When Barrymore was diagnosed with cancer, Drew took him in and covered his medical expenses until his death in 2004. Willie Ames. Willie Ames embodied the quintessential teen idol of the late 1970s and early 1980s. Rising to fame through television hits like Eight is Enough and Charles in Charge, Ames seemed to have it all. At the peak of his career, he earned over $1 million annually. However, success came with significant personal challenges. Ames battled alcohol and substance addiction, which led to divorce and a dramatic fall from grace. His lowest point saw him homeless, sleeping in parking garages and public parks, which was a far cry from his previous stardom. Ames's story took a remarkable turn at age 47. Finding renewed purpose through his faith, he completely reinvented his life. He began working on cruise ships, starting as a ping pong attendant and eventually becoming a cruise director. By 2016, he had returned to acting, finding steady work in Hallmark Channel movies. Lani O'Grady. Lani O'Grady was best known for her role as Mary Bradford in Eight is Enough, a popular family drama from the late 1970s and early 1980s. Beyond her television success, she appeared in shows like The Love Boat and TV movies that showcased her acting range. However, O'Grady's life was marked by significant personal struggles. Health issues and pill addiction had plagued her since her early acting days. In the early 1990s, she transitioned from acting to becoming a talent agent, seeking a new direction in her professional life. Her personal challenges culminated in a stay at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's mental health ward, where she sought to detox. During this period, she claimed to have been sexually battered by a medical technician and initiated a lawsuit against the hospital. Tragically, O'Grady was found dead in her mobile home in 2001 at just 46 years old. An autopsy revealed toxic levels of Vicodin and Prozac in her system, a heartbreaking end to a life that had once shown such promise. Amanda Peterson. Amanda Peterson captured hearts in the 1987 romantic comedy Can't Buy Me Love, alongside Patrick Dempsey. At the height of her fame, she graced the covers of teen magazines like Tiger Beat, embodying the quintessential 1980s teen idol. However, her life took a devastating turn after leaving Hollywood and returning to her hometown of Greeley, Colorado. Peterson's post-acting life was marked by repeated legal troubles. She was arrested 5 times on various charges, including assault, harassment, driving under the influence, and drug-related offenses. In 2005, she spent nearly 3 months in jail. Her mugshots revealed a stark transformation, nearly unrecognizable, with one photograph even showing her with a black eye. The final years of Peterson's life were marked by isolation and struggle. She lived alone in an apartment, surviving on disability benefits. Tragically, her life ended with a morphine overdose, a heartbreaking conclusion to a once promising career. Dana Plato. Dana Plato rose to fame as Kimberly Drummond on the popular sitcom Different Strokes, becoming a household name in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Despite her early success, Plato struggled with the intense pressures of instant fame. She began experimenting with drugs and alcohol at a young age, a path that would ultimately define her later years. Her career unraveled when she was dismissed from Different Strokes, and subsequent acting opportunities became scarce. Personal and financial challenges compounded her struggles, leading to increasingly desperate circumstances. Her lowest point came when she robbed a Las Vegas video store, a far cry from her previous television stardom. Plato's life ended tragically at just 34 years old, succumbing to a drug overdose while living in an RV with her fiancé. A poignant reminder of how quickly fame can fade. John Michael Vincent. John Michael Vincent was once Hollywood's golden boy, best known for his starring role in the action series Airwolf. Beginning his career in the late 1960s, Vincent quickly became one of the most popular and highest-paid actors of his time. His breakthrough came in 1984 with Airwolf, where he starred alongside Ernest Borgnine. However, the pressures of sudden fame led Vincent down a destructive path of substance abuse. His drug use escalated from alcohol and marijuana to cocaine and eventually intravenous drugs. Legal troubles and repeated arrests became a hallmark of his later years. Physical challenges compounded his personal struggles. A 1996 car accident left him with a broken neck, and another in 2008 resulted in a leg infection requiring amputation. When Vincent died in 2019 at 73, he was struggling financially, owing $70,000 in back taxes, which is a far cry from his former Hollywood success. Lisa Robin Kelly. Lisa Robin Kelly found fame as Lori Foreman on That 70s Show, but her off-screen life was marked by significant personal challenges. Her abrupt departure from the show in its third season raised early suspicions of substance abuse issues. Kelly's legal troubles began in 2010 with a drunk driving arrest. Subsequent years saw multiple arrests, including charges of domestic violence and repeated DUIs. In a moment of self-awareness, she checked into rehab to address her alcoholism. Tragically, just days after receiving treatment, she passed away in her sleep at 43 due to multiple drug intoxications. Mindy McCready. Mindy McCready was a country music star known for hits like Guys Do It All the Time and 10,000 Angels. Her personal life was as tumultuous as her professional one, marked by high-profile relationships and personal struggles. As her musical success waned, McCready's life spiraled. She experienced multiple suicide attempts, struggled with drug addiction, and endured abusive relationships. Despite appearing on Celebrity Rehab in hopes of recovery, she continued to face significant challenges. Her story ended tragically in 2013 when she died by suicide on her front porch, the same location where her former boyfriend had fatally shot himself just a month earlier. Jennifer Lien. Jennifer Lien gained recognition for her role as Kes in Star Trek Voyager. After the series ended, her acting career gradually diminished, with only occasional voiceover work in a role in American History X. Lien's post-acting life became defined by repeated legal troubles. She faced charges including domestic violence, vehicle-related offenses, and indecent exposure. Despite being ordered to undergo mental health treatment, she continued to encounter legal challenges. Today, Lien survives primarily on reruns of Star Trek, living a modest life far removed from her previous television success. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes rose to prominence through powerful roles in groundbreaking films like Spike Lee's Mo' Better Blues and the action-packed Blade trilogy. His career seemed unstoppable, with significant roles in New Jack City, Jungle Fever, and White Men Can't Jump establishing him as a major Hollywood talent. However, Snipes' financial decisions would ultimately overshadow his cinematic achievements. During the peak of his career, between 1999 and 2004, Snipes earned approximately $40 million. Despite this substantial income, he made a critical mistake by failing to pay federal taxes. More surprisingly, he attempted to claim status as a non-resident alien to avoid tax obligations. This decision proved catastrophic. The government convicted him of 3 misdemeanor counts of tax noncompliance, resulting in a 3-year prison sentence and a staggering $23.5 million debt. After his release from federal prison in 2013, Snipes significantly reduced his public profile. Where he once dominated movie screens, he now makes only occasional appearances in film and television, a stark contrast to his earlier prominence.